We all know the painful sting of not being able to hone because we don't have enough mats. But in this video, I'm gonna make sure that you're not gatekeeping yourself from honing because you're doing the wrong freaking Una task. Let's get into it. We are only gonna be using the shards and leapstone sources that come most regularly. Of course, you're gonna have event mats. You're gonna get mats from daily logins, all kinds of those things, but we're not gonna factor those in. So as far as your shard sources, we're looking at Chaos Dungeon mats and Braille boxes. As far as leapstones, we're looking at your Una tasks because typically you're always going to be doing your Una tasks anyway, so we'll factor those in. Una tasks, Chaos Dungeons, Guardian Raids, and your raid mats as well. So just based on these, you're going to be accomplishing that goal for your shards in 45 days. And for your leapstones, it's going to take 86, so that's twice as many. So guess what? For no matter how many alts you have, even if you have like 4 or 5 alts, you're still gonna be wanting to do leapstones. Unless you're in a really weird situation that you have a ton of tradable Marvelous Honor leapstones already, which isn't gonna be most people. For most people that are initially honing and get to 1490, they're not going to have a whole lot of honor shards and a whole lot of leapstones left over because they use those to hone to 1490 and the materials change for the leapstones. So typically you're going to stay with the leapstones. So we're just going to keep it super simple unless you're in a really weird situation. Now here's where it gets interesting. From 1540 to 1580, we need 2.2 million shards and 6,200 leapstones on average. And your shard sources are the same. You get a little bit more from the Chaos Dungeons though. You get about the same from the Braille boxes, and your leapstone sources do go up per day from the Guardian Raids. Instead of getting 7 per day, you now get 14 per day with Haunted Baton, which by the way is a really good Guardian Raid. I love fighting the monkey. But anyways, let's get on to this. So just as a solo toon, one character, you're going to get that shard goal in 113 days, and then you're going to get your leapstone goal at 185 days. So guess what? If you have one alt, it's going to reduce that to 130, 2 alts, 101, 3 alts, 82, 4 alts, 67. Most people are not going to have more than 4 alts at 1540 supplying their main to juice it. Most people probably have at most 1 to 2 other characters at 1540. But I went ahead and kept this as simple as possible. So if you're solo, you still need to focus on leapstones. If you have one alt, still need to focus on leaps, right? Because we want to balance these days out. That way you're not gatekeeping yourself by having so many shards and not enough leaps, or so many leaps and not enough shards to hone. So for 2 alts, you are going to switch one of your daily Una tasks to shards instead of leapstones. That way it'll help to balance this out a little bit. And then if you have 3 alts, you're going to switch 2 of these daily Una tasks to shards. And then if you have 4 or more alts, you're going to switch all 3 of your Unas to shards, and you're going to be using your alts to supply all the leapstones. That way you can hone as quickly as possible. Now, granted, all of this information is only for if you're pushing one character. That's the only way that you can use your alts mats to push one character. But if you're leveling all of your characters evenly, then you're going to go the solo route and just treat it as solo. So you're always going to be focusing on leaps, as that is going to be the thing that gatekeeps you from honing. Now, if you're somebody who really likes to bring your alts up, but you always focus on one character at a time, then you would still, for 1490 to 1540, focus on leapstones. From 1540 to 1580, you'd be following these rules. Now, if you are one of the people that need to start adding in shard dailies instead of leapstone dailies, this is the order that I would go in. So if you only need to add one of those in, then I would go for either the Die 100 Deaths or the Mayhem Piles on the Altar, because these quests are both extremely simple and you just have to kill a couple enemies, triport, and then talk to someone and the quest is over. And you can make a Bifrost location that's right next to the starting point of the quest. It's super easy. It takes less than 2 minutes to complete. And if you need to add the third one, then I would go for the Customer Comes First. This is an extremely quick quest as well. And if you're doing Mayhem Piles on the Altar and Customer Comes First, you can use a Bifrost key to Mayhem Piles on the Altar and then just triport over to the Hot Springs and complete this one and be done super quick. So that's the order that I would go in if you needed to get some honor shard quests in. Personally, that's what I'm doing on my Glavier, because as you can see, I do not have many shards, man. I didn't want you to make the same mistake I did, because I've been focusing way too much on the daily grind of Leapstones when I have 4,200 already just sitting there from all the tradable Leapstones from all the Guardian raids on my alts that I have kept and didn't need. So I'm good on Leapstones. I just need freaking shards, and I didn't want you to make the same mistake. Leave a like on this video if this gave you any good information about the dailies that you need to be doing, and consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 2,000 subs, and I know that we can get there with your help. I'm going to see you on the next video.